Okay, we start then with price elasticity of supply. If we look at the definition of this, we will see that we can say that the price elasticity of supply measure the responsiveness of supply to a change in price. So if I must explain this, I say if the price change, then what will happen to the supply? So you must also keep in mind what is the rules of supply. We have said if the price increase, the supplier will try to supply more. If the price decrease, the supplier will try to supply less, and that is to maximize his profits. Okay, then you can also see how it is calculated. It's the percentage change in the quantity supply divided by the percentage change in the price. I will show you, you can see there on the PowerPoint how you calculate this percentage change in price, because they can give you the percentage change, or they can tell you that the price changed from $10 to $15, and then you must calculate the percentage change in price. Or they tell you the quantity demand changed from 2,000 to 3,000, and then you must calculate the percentage change in the supply. Okay, and again here, if your answer is more than one, this is a very elastic product. It means that it responds by a higher percentage than the price have changed. So if the price increased with 10%, the farmer will supply, say, 12% more of this product. And if the answer is less than one, then in this case, it is a very inelastic product where it comes to supply. If the price increase, although that the farmer want to, he can't supply more because it takes a while until the vegetables is ready to put on the market. And then you also get, if the answer is equal to one, you can also call it unit elasticity. Now in this case, it just means that if the price increased with 10%, the supply also increased with 10% in the same ratio. You will see that there is also the 45-degree graph is unit elastic. The one that is steeper is more inelastic, and the one that is more relaxed is elastic. You will also see that they are all supply curves, so they are all moving upwards from the left to the right. It is important to also realize in some cases the price elasticity of supply show a totally vertical graph, because in that case it is like the soccer stadium I have discussed. In that case there's only 60,000 seats, so they can only take 60,000 people, and it doesn't matter what the price is, the supply will stay vertical. It will stay exactly at 60,000. So that is examples of different graphs for price elasticity of supply. So your next slide show you the effect of what affect the elasticity of supply. Why is some products more elastic and others less elastic? Okay, the first point is excess capacity. In this case, can you, for example, do you have land available to plant more? Your machinery that you use, are you using them for 24 hours? Say if you are a bakery, do you use all your stoves that you have for 24 hours, or is there excess capacity that you can immediately react and produce more? Then the level of stock. Do you have stock in your storerooms? if you do have, you can supply immediately. So like a farmer, if they have potatoes, they can supply immediately. But if they have nothing in the storeroom, they can't do it. Then it is very inelastic because they cannot respond to a change in price. And then if they work with manufactured goods or agricultural goods is normally there's a time lapse. You must wait until it is ready. It is influenced by the weather, the rain, the water available, and so forth. Where manufactured goods, if you have spare capacity on your machinery, you can react. Then the time involved, that is the time that it is ready to take from when you plant it until you can put it on the market. And then the level of employment. Do you have the skilled labor available? Do you have excess labor available? Say labor that you don't use to its full potential. That will influence if you can immediately supply more and be very elastic to supply, or if you can't do it, must you first train workers. And then in that case, your supply will be very inelastic. Then the availability of factors of production. So the price change, you want to supply more, but you don't have all the factors of production. Now, remember what is factors of production? We have done it in the first few lessons. It is land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship. So if you have if there's any of that factors of production that you struggle to get, so you struggle to get your raw materials so that you are able to supply more. Or you see, I can only supply more if I have an extra, say, sewing machine. So to get that sewing machine, it's not available in Namibia, the one that I want. I must import it from Germany. So you can think for yourself how long it will take to get it here. And then, only then you can supply. So if that is the case, you will also be very inelastic when it comes to supply because you can't react very quickly. Okay, what we will do for the rest of this PowerPoint is that we will take certain situations and certain products and discuss the elasticity of demand and supply for these products, that you can learn from this how to answer questions like that. Okay, the first product we will discuss is, I ask you in this question, say for example, define what is price elasticity of demand and explain how one can calculate it with examples. But in the second question, I say, discuss whether clothing and electrical products would be likely to have an elastic or inelastic demand. Now, in a case like that, you must remember that if you work with clothing, you get different types of clothing. You can't just discuss clothing in general. You must remember that you can get clothing from Pep stores or Mr. Price, and you can also get brand name clothing. So if you, for example, talk about Adidas t-shirt, and then it is definitely a luxury product for most people. But if you talk about a t-shirt from Mr. Price, then you can say this is an inferior good. I need a t-shirt that is what I can use and that is enough for me. So if you look at that, then you can realize that certain clothing is luxury and certain clothing is inferior. So you must discuss the inferior clothing, and you must definitely say, if you are talking about the clothing that is a luxury product, a product that you really can go without. Okay, and then if you talk about electrical products. So for me, for example, a kettle that boils my water is an inferior good. I know I can go without it, but for me, in my income group and in my lifestyle, that is for me an inferior good. So, but if I think about electrical, say for example, an egg boiler, I don't really need it. So for me, that will be a luxury good. An ice maker is for me a luxury good. Electrical machine that bakes bread is for me a luxury good. I feel I can go without it. So you can't discuss electrical goods also in general. You must name the type of good you have in mind, and you must state that it is for you an inferior good. And then you must use the other example of electrical good, and you must say, for me, this electrical good is a luxury product. And then from there, you can say if it is elastic or inelastic, and you can explain that. Okay, you will also see that I have there a question for you if barter school shoes prices change from 100 to 120, and the quantity demand decrease from 500 to 475. You must be able to do the calculation if they give it to you in that way, and you must be able to do the calculation for price elasticity of demand if they give it to you, the percentages already.